it's a great time to be a soccer fan in Massachusetts.
It is technically a friendly, however, there's nothing friendly about it.
Thursday's match between France and Brazil is ramping up excitement for the main event, the World Cup.
We know that people are going to be coming from all over. They're going to have to stay in places outside of Greater Boston.
The state is hoping to cash in. Kate Fox leads the Office of Travel and Tourism. This morning, she goes on the record about the World Cup and a busy summer in our state.
From WCVB Channel 5, the inside word from Beacon Hill to Capitol Hill. Today's newsmakers are going on the record.
And good morning. It is Sunday, March 29th. I'm Charmin Sacchetti.
And I'm Erica Tarantel. Joining us at the table is Kate Fox. She is the executive director of the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism, and she does not plan to sleep until the end of July.
Nope.
So much happening. Thanks for being here.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right, let's start with the World Cup. So the state rolling out $10 million in grants for fan celebrations, watch parties across Massachusetts. Which events, first of all, do you think are going to be the biggest events that people will notice?
We're all excited about the FanFest that will be in downtown Boston in City Hall Plaza that is being organized by Boston 26 as well as Meet Boston and the city. That's going to be the largest in the center, but there are so many other regional FanFests happening across the state. In the Metro West area, we're going to see a couple of different FanFests. There's something going on in Greenfield. There's something going on in East Hampton. Lowell is planning something. So all over the state, wherever you are, you're going to be able to be easy access to a fan watch party, a FanFest, or go to a local restaurant or bar. You're going to be able to watch it there.
So you say FanFest. What can people expect from some of these?
They're going to be large-scale viewing opportunities for the games. The grants that we awarded focused on programs that are going to be showing at least one of the games being played at Boston Stadium. And so these are opportunities for people who aren't going to Foxborough to gather with friends and family and celebrate the beautiful game of football.
Yeah, well, finalizing the funding, we know, as we've reported, it hasn't been easy from the federal government, even from the state. It seems to have come in quite late. So has that impacted any of the planning, any of the events? I mean, it's already almost April, and it was just within the week that we got the $10 million. So how is that impacting things?
We're right on time. We are making plans, and the planning has been going on behind the scenes as the money has become available. So we're all very confident that it's going to be a fantastic summer of soccer.
Well, hard to do it all yourself. So talk about the importance of kind of the public-private partnerships, any kind of local charities that are pitching in. Who are you working with?
We're really excited about some programming coming up from Massachusetts Youth Soccer Association. As a former soccer mom myself, it's a great organization that's going to get the kids involved across the state. And they're doing a road show where they'll stop in several communities and engage the kids in soccer programming, soccer lessons, and programming around World Cup.
I know the governor had asked for $20 million. The legislature didn't bite. They gave her $10 million for some of these events around the state. Are they going to be any fun?
It's all going to be fun. I think this is going to...
I feel like that's the biggest question.
Yeah, no, I think that it's going to be a great opportunity to have fun throughout the state, celebrate World Cup, celebrate soccer, and go out and watch the game, celebrate your favorite team. I am so excited about the Tartan Army coming in with Scotland. We have amazing teams, Norway, the UK. The games are going to be fantastic.
So a good way to watch the game if you don't have a ticket, which, as we know, are very expensive, those tickets.
Yeah, these watch parties.
Yep, the watch parties are
Watch
great.
with your friends.
Yep, come down and
don't battle the crowd.
They're going to be activations. Take the T. Use public transportation. I'm a big proponent of using the using the ferry system to get to downtown Boston or wherever you're trying to go this summer. Get out on the water, and then you've got a twofer.
Yeah, well, talking about the fans, we got kind of a taste of the enthusiasm. That's the thing with soccer fans. I mean, they are crazy for soccer. So Thursday, Brazil, France, they went head to head in a friendly at Gillette. Was a great game. Was kind of considered a test run ahead of the World Cup this summer. How do you think it went? How was it in terms of building excitement?
I think it was great. It was people got there. We didn't hear about problems. They had a wonderful time at the game. The transportation worked. The access to Boston Stadium, which is still Gillette, was great, and really positive experience for everybody
and
who was
when will
there.
things kind of be more visible? Like, we saw the friendly, that kind of got a lot of attention, but kind of will signs be going up, information going out? When can we expect to see all of that?
I would say in the next month to 2 months, within definitely the 30 days before World Cup hits, you'll start seeing a lot more branding and signage and materials geared for our international visitors.
So
who are
sort of
coming in.
just before the games hit. All right, the governor has said she's likening the World Cup, each game, to the equivalent of a Super Bowl. So we have 7 World Cup games, that's 7 Super Bowls. I want to ask you about the economy and the economic boost this brings to the state. What does that look like?
It looks like hotel rooms are going to be full, generating hotel tax, lodging tax across the state. Our short-term rentals are also full. Meals, the restaurants are going to have a great summer between World Cup, the MA250 programming, and then Sail Boston. There's just a lot of reason to be in Massachusetts. So we anticipate a lot of economic boost around these things.
And so do you have an estimate in terms of a number at all, or have you guys put a figure on that?
We have not. We don't like to put projections and do
have to
forward looking.
ask. I'm
I know
a reporter.
you
I
have to
ask.
you have to ask, and I have to say we don't love to do projections, but we are going to be ready with what happened and what we saw after the fact.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some estimates of $1 billion.
Yep. There are a lot of
She's
estimates.
shaking her head yes.
There are a lot of estimates out there.
Well, we like the B
Yeah.
and the billion.
We do.
All right, so international travel, it's taken a hit over the last year, really. How can the World Cup change that, and how can you capitalize on bringing people here maybe to come back again, fall in love with Massachusetts?
Sure. We are doing marketing campaign to target the visitors coming in, both domestic visitors and international visitors who are going to come in and to see games, but also there's a trend of travelers who want to be in the same time zone as the games that are being played. So we're going to be here to encourage them to see the rest of the state, do other things. We're calling it extra time in Massachusetts, and we're hoping that people are going to be able to leave either with a broader experience here or the inspiration to come back soon.
So you talked about full hotel rooms. We know lodging, another big focus ahead of the games. We're used to a lot of lodging in the city. We have the Boston Marathon, brings some 500,000 people to Boston. We have conventions, of course. This is in Foxborough. It's impacting a number of towns, not just the city. So how's capacity looking? Where are people booking hotels? Are there options?
They are booking in Boston and around Foxborough, as you would expect, and certainly throughout the state. I know the Metro West region is seeing a bump in hotel bookings. We're also seeing that international travelers are waiting to book until they're a little bit closer to the games. So we do anticipate the hotel bookings will continue to rise.
All right. Well, all U.S. host cities recently had some blocks canceled by FIFA, and that includes Boston. Was that something you were anticipating?
It is something that I think is not unusual for a large-scale event. So the hotels they have plenty of time to recoup and get people in those rooms, and we're looking forward to having a lot of people here.
Well, let's talk about short-term rentals, because we see people doing that all the time now. How much of a role will those play in this, or are they playing that you've seen?
They are playing a significant role. Short-term rentals are very popular, especially for long-term stays. So the short-term rental bookings, we're seeing increases there, just as we're seeing increases in our traditional lodging.
All right, our conversation continues with Kate Fox after the break.